thank you for joining us today. We're going to be looking at how to engage your students with StrataLogica through the U.S. history topics. And we're going to look at the historical maps that StrataLogica offers. We're going to look at how to create custom views and presentations and student projects as well to engage our learners, as well as the atlases and charts that are available to you. This is your home screen, and I'd like to point out the user guide. So don't feel like you have to take notes of all the little things that we say today as far as the technical stuff, because you can always go here on your home page to the user guide and access this information at any time. I'd like to also point out the contact and support section as well. This is on your home screen. I've just zoomed in on your home screen. This is going to be on the bottom right, and you can get support anytime that you need it. This is the first screen that you'll see when you log on to StrataLogica, and we're going to start by looking at the Maps section. So I'm going to click on the Maps icon, and that'll bring us to this screen. If you'll notice, the yellow arrow is pointing to a stack of papers right here. This is called your map chooser. This is where you would go to select the map titles that you'd like to access. So look over here on the stack of papers. It provides me with a drop-down bar, and I can select the map I want to use. This one is always going to be the first one that you'll see, and it's the Discovery Series, and these are the maps that are in the Discovery Series. But I'm going to click on this drop-down menu, and when I click on that arrow, it's going to open up these options of maps for me to choose from. So we're going to look at historical maps today. So only the maps that you've added to your library are going to show up here on your screen, on your drop-down menu. So if the map that you're looking for is not there, you can always go right here to open your library and simply go to your library and click on the map to add it, and it'll show up here. So depending on the series that you purchased, there are 16 maps that are available in the U.S. History Collection, and there's 16 maps available in the World History Collection. So when you open the library, it's going to bring you to this page, and you can search for the map titles. I've added all the maps to mine, so mine might look a little bit different than yours. But if you find a map that you'd like to add over here, it would just have the word add, and you click on it, and it's going to automatically be added to your library. So we're going to start by looking at the historical map titled European Settlements. If you click on the italic icon, the map's legend is exposed. There will be a scroll bar here that will show also other things than what you can see on my screenshot. So this map topic, European settlements that I've chosen, gives you two different map views. It gives you a European settlements and a Northeast colonies. So let's take a look at the European settlements. This is a 3D map that can be manipulated in a lot of different ways. You can zoom in on any area that you want to, and there are already pictures and other information that are on these numbers and different push pins around the map that already has the information embedded for you. Every map is going to have something already done for you. So we'll look at how to use the toolbox down here and add other features to the map in just a minute. So I'm going to zoom in on a section of this map, and I'm going to do that by using my zoom features over here to the right. So this is a zoomed in portion, and this map can be used in many different ways to engage your students. So you can create a custom view of one map, and you can add an essential question for a bell ringer, anything that you'd like to do for students to answer or be thinking about, or for discussion purposes in their collaborative groups. And you can add anything you want to this map. They'll be able to manipulate their custom view from their own computer. So whether it's something that you've assigned them to work on in class or at home, they'll be able to do that from anywhere. This shows you an example of what the students would see on a particular custom view or a slide presentation. The teacher's written directions for the student here at the bottom. It says move to the Netherlands. Click on the 5 push pins to find out more about how the separatists ended up in the Netherlands. So this is actually something that the teacher added for her students. These push pins right here were created by the teacher, and she was able to choose the information she wanted the students to see on this particular day. So if I click on one of these push pins, this button or this box is going to pop up. Escape attempt number 1. It has a quote by William Bradford that the teachers added, along with some more information about the separatists. By clicking the pencil and paper right down here on the left-hand part of your screen, this is going to take you to the lesson plans for the map that you've chosen. So every map is going to have tips and lessons already made for you. You can click on any of these right here under the tips, and it's going to give you more information. So let's click on the Lessons tab for this map. So this opens up the lesson plans already prepared for you, and you will have a scroll bar here that will give you more information. The green folders down here, when I use my scroll bar to scroll down, they provide teaching notes and mapping activities. So the teaching notes on each one of these are background information that for the teacher to share with the students that they are going to need to know to be able to manipulate the mapping directions. So let's look at the first one, Who Settled Here? So this is one of the lesson plans titled Who Settled Here? And the objective right here is at the top. And again, it's going to give you information. It's going to tell you what map that you're using on this particular one for. And you'll also notice at the bottom right-hand part of the lesson plan, it has an atlas page that correlates with this map activity. So you can further engage your students by using the atlas and the map. So let's go to the next slide and see what one might look like if a student has started following some of the directions on this lesson plan. So this is a zoomed in version of that map. The teacher zoomed in a little closer, and they have actually used the toolbar here, this feature, to start manipulating their map. So they were able to choose their color of font that's going to show up on the map. So if they're writing something over here in orange, they may want to use a color that's not close to orange so it will show up. They are also able, depending on where they're putting their information, their text, they can choose the size of their font. So they're going to click on the T for text. They're going to write their label here, whatever they want to show up on the map, choose their color and their size font, and click Done. Wherever they click on the map is where that text is going to appear. So the first direction on that mapping activity asks the students to label the pink area up here, French, the green area right here, Dutch, and the orange area down here, Spanish. So the student has used the toolbar, typed in these things, and manipulated the map. So let's take a closer look at the next map option, Northeast Colonies. This is a second map in the European settlement section. So I'm going to come over here and move my blue dot because I want to zoom in some more on this map. So this gives me a little more detailed view, and remember I can zoom in as close as I want to, focusing in on any area that I'd like to. I'd like to point out over here there's also a 2D feature to any of our maps. We'll take a closer look at that in just a moment. This is the third lesson plan that was in that map series. There were 3 particular lesson plans in that map series. So let's look at what this map might look like after a student has started following the directions. Again, they used the toolbar, but this time they used the drawing feature. So they chose that they would like to use the pencil. They chose the color, the size of the pen head, and they used the text to write France, and then they underlined it, and they were also asked to circle this region here. So the student has done that. Now let's take a look at these two dots here called the dual viewer. The dual viewer allows us to manipulate the same map on both sides of the screen, allowing us to make comparisons between the maps. You can keep these chains down here that are circled in yellow. You can keep those chains interlocked so that whatever you do on one map, whether you enlarge it, focus in on a single area, if you write on it, whatever you do to it, if these chains are interlocked, the same thing is going to appear on the right side. So if I zoom in here, it's going to zoom in here. I can unlock these chains, and I'm able to just manipulate one map while the other one stays the same. So let's look at ways that we can use a dual map to engage the student. So on this slide, you can see how you can unlock the chains and zoom in on this side of the map while I've left the other side unchanged. And this will allow you to focus on a specific area and still refer to the whole map for reference. You can add an essential question or have students compare information between the maps. Whatever topic you're studying and whatever map you're using, you're able to add anything to these maps that you'd like to. So students are also able to manipulate both maps as they research for their information. So for example, this teacher has said, compare Spanish settlements with other European settlements. In terms of size and location, how do they correlate with the newcomers to the Americas graph? So this button right here allows you to move to a 2D version of the map. So this is a 2D version of the same map that we were just looking at, and it offers you a lot of additional information that you can use with your students. Like the 3D map, you can zoom in on any area of the map that you choose. You can also write on it, underline. The toolbox has different options that you can use. This map is such a wonderful resource to teach students about text features. So let's zoom in some of the text features on this map. Okay, so all I've done is use my zoom feature, and I've zoomed in on an area of the map. And text features help students learn features that aid them in comprehension by learning the parts of the map, such as the title, the key, the legend, the compass rose. Timelines are also a staple of social studies text. Graphs are features that help students condense their data and display numerical information that's important to the text. They can also be used to compare the amounts or show changes over time. So charts and tables are part of these maps as well, and are tools that can help organize and condense large amounts of information or data to help students comprehend the information better. So let's talk about creating custom views to engage your students. A custom view is one slide with several pieces of information included. You can create your own, and if you want to know the actual details, features of creating a presentation, just go to the nystromeducation.com website /learning, and you can watch our recorded webinar on presentations, or you can go to the home screen and use the user guide. Rather than creating your own, you can also go to My Community tab and search for the topic that you're teaching, and just copy that presentation right to your gallery for you to use. The wonderful thing about StrataLogica is that you can use the presentation that you've copied to your gallery just as it is, or you can go in and edit the presentation slide by slide to fit your needs. You can also search by topic, author, popularity, ratings, and we're going to look at that in just a minute. So let's get back to our map chooser and select a different map and talk about creating presentations to use with our students. We're going to choose the Revolutionary War map this time, and let's zoom in on this map. So many maps already have engaging information embedded in them. So by clicking on the different numbers that are around the map, or different things will pop up. So it may be in the form of a picture, a primary source, or even a video for students to watch prior to working on their assignments. So here, students are watching, they're reading, they're discussing, they're thinking, they're processing, and they're engaging with historical and geographical content just by what's already here on these maps for you. So this is a slide from a presentation on the Boston Massacre. It's using the historical map titled The Revolutionary War, and the teachers added a pushpin for the students to explore right here where it's circled yellow. So when the students open that pushpin, there's a video from YouTube for the students to watch prior to working in their collaborative groups. So the teacher has also added a direction for them, watch the video on the Boston Massacre. She's also titled it. So the teacher actually embedded this for the students. Another pushpin on this map that the teacher has added opens the primary source document, and there are directions for the students. It says, in your small group, answer the following questions. Who is the image made for? Why did the artist choose that moment in time to draw? And what was his motive? So students will use this custom view to create a timeline for American Revolution with at least 10 major events and why they are so important to the American Revolution. You can also have students analyze the primary sources found in each pushpin. You can have them write in their journal about the events or answer any of the essential questions related to the standard that they're teaching. Engaging students with presentations are like custom views, but they're more than one slide. It isn't always necessary to start from scratch. We had talked about using My Community earlier, so let's take a look at it. From your home page, you're going to go up to the top and you're going to find My Community. When you click on that, it brings you to presentations and custom views that have already been prepared for you to use. So you would just type in the topic you'd like to search right here and hit the search bar. The tabs at the top allow you to sort your search by the date that it was added, right here, popularity, or rating. And you can also see below each presentation right here how many times the presentation's been viewed and how many times it's been copied to someone else's gallery. So to use the presentation that you've chosen, you would just click on copy to my gallery, and it'll just be saved in your gallery. So there you go. Copy to my gallery and then copy. Here it appears in your gallery. So this is a presentation I copied from my gallery from using My Community. I copied it to my gallery. The topic is called The Journey of the Pilgrims. So this author posed an essential questions for the student down here to engage her students along with the task. It says, click on the pushpin to learn more about the pilgrims. Their words will appear in brown. This feature allows you to use the presentation as it is, or you can go over here and edit it slide by slide. You can change the title, the description, you can edit it any way that fits your needs. Students can click on the pushpin to see the information that you've added to the presentation. So this one shows you, when they clicked on the pushpin, who were the pilgrims. There's a picture here, and if you scroll down some more, it shows you some more information that the teachers added for the students to use. So as you can see, primary sources and secondary sources can be added to any pushpin. Here you can see information regarding the United Kingdom has been added by the teacher. So whether a primary or secondary sources, students need to be able to engage with both, and they need to understand that both have bias. This presentation was created for the purpose of an assessment. So this particular slide shows you that the teacher's directions down here at the bottom for assessment. Label the natural features each railroad company passed through. Clue, click on the legend and click on the colors you see on the map. This shows you how you can use presentations in a variety of ways to meet the needs of your students. So you would just go and select the map that you'd like, and you would just add your assessment to the bottom. Look at another assessment. This asks the students, which railroad company made the biggest contribution to the building of the railroad? Write a paragraph explaining your choice. This shows an example of how the teacher is using the StrataLogica Atlas to further engage the students with this map lesson. The standard being met is in the right-hand corner. The student will describe how life changed in America at the turn of the century. You can also have different groups of students complete directions on different slides to allow for more differentiation using your presentations. You can use StrataLogica presentations as bell ringer activities also. So let's look at the collection of atlases. When you click on the atlas up at the top, in the atlas, you will find the atlas chooser, and it'll give you a drop-down button that'll show you all your choices of the different atlases that you can choose from. So I'm going to select the U.S. History Atlas. So it'll open to the contents page, and I can use the arrows on the right side or the left side to go back and forth from page to page, or if I want to just go to a particular page, I will just go up here and type in that page number, and it would just take me right to it. So on the right side, you'll also see the Tips and Lesson Plans tab. These are available also in all of our atlases. So this is a page from one of the atlases that goes with the Revolution and the New Nation. This correlates with the map activities that I showed you earlier. You can zoom in on any area of the page just like you would if you were working with the map. So you would just use your little zoom arrows right here. You can also use the toolbox at the bottom to write on the atlas, to circle it, to underline it, etc. So this shows you a zoomed in view of the atlas. I just wanted to zoom in right here on the timeline. And it also shows you some of the lesson plan choices that are available for the U.S. History Atlas. So we open the toolbox at the bottom. This will show you how you can write on the atlas. So this will show you an example of how you can zoom in on one section of the atlas, and you can choose the color that you'd like to write with. And you can also choose down here, it allows you to choose the size of your pen head. So you can make a circle very large and fat, or like this one right here, you can make it a little more slim. The students are also able to work with their individual atlases from their own computer. So you can always do these activities, whole group or small group. All of the atlases also come with lessons, and this just shows you an example of some of the lessons that come with the atlases and the skills that it teaches. You can write on these, you can zoom on them, and you can draw anything that you'd like to do. So working with projects. So StrataLogica is a wonderful resource for individual projects or group projects. You can put students in a group to work together using the same map in many different ways. So let's look at some ways we can engage our groups. So a project is a collaboration between students, and this is unlike the presentation feature that we just talked about, where a student's working independently to complete an assignment. In a project in StrataLogica, students are working together with the same map to complete their assignment. So projects are done in real time, which makes it a true collaboration feature, which means that students are saving their work and their partners are able to see the work that they've done, even if they're at different locations. So they could be at home working, at the library, anywhere. Teachers can also see who's doing the work. It works in a multi-platform environment so students can work on their projects on their computers at home or at school, iPads, and it's also available on Chromebook. So when I click on my maps, I want to go to my gallery, which is right here at the top. Your gallery is like your digital portfolio of all of your work. So you're going to have a gallery and your students will have a gallery. So we're going to click on gallery. And when your gallery first opens up, you'll see the things that you've most recently either created, edited, or modified. So the gallery is going to show you all of your presentations, your custom views, and your projects that you've already saved. You can search by types, tags, or you can search for a topic using the search bar. So I'm going to type in Civil War battles because I want to look for anything I've saved in my gallery that's related to Civil War. So I type that in, and that presentation comes up, and I can just open it without having to scroll through my whole gallery looking for it. So we want to filter by type. So we're going to click on Project, and then it'll bring up all of our projects. I can find and open the project I want. So we're going to look at a project titled Civil Rights, and this is a collaborative project done by students. So the first thing we'll look at is the description. That's located right up here at the top. And this is where you can write what you want the students in the group to do. I know you can't see the whole description, but it says, please provide information regarding cultural events that the following people were involved with that impacted the perspective of Americans regarding equality. Jackie Robinson, Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, and the Little Rock Nine. This is what you want the students to do. Okay, over here on the next arrow, you'll see yourself as the facilitator, and underneath that, you're going to see your students. You can also see when they've last added information or when they've actually completed their work. So if you'll look down here at Pam, there's nothing, no date by Pam's name. So Pam obviously hasn't started any of her work. So at this time you might want to pull Pam aside to see if she is understanding the assignment or is having any difficulty that you might could help her with. The other thing I wanted to point out is up here at the top, the notes section. So you can always put what you want students to do in the description, or in the description you can just write C notes. Okay. So here I've actually put in the notes section what I want the students to do. So in the next section, you can have, in the notes section, you can have a dialogue with your students, or the students can have dialogues with each other as they're working on the project, and that makes it more of a collaborative project. So here you might think that this map looks a little cluttered. So what I want to do is go down into my toolbox, and I'm going to go to my gears, which is my settings, and I'm going to click on labels. So what this is going to do is turn off all the other labels on the map. So now we have a more clear picture of the map, and it doesn't look so cluttered. So let's say we want to see what an individual student's done. So we want to click on the eye of the other student. Okay, so I'm going to click here, here, here. We can only see now what David M. has done. So what this is going to do is take away everything else on the map that the other students have done collectively, and we can just focus on David M.'s effort. So the project feature allows us to see as the whole map as a collaborative project. I can look at this map when I have everyone's eye on, and I can see the whole finished product, or I can just see what one specific student has worked on. So let's click on David M. and see what kind of work he's done. We're going to click on his Rosa Parks push pin that's right here in the middle. So you see he's provided a video as well as some information on Rosa Parks. So you can click on that video and you can watch it, and you can also watch it on full screen, and when you're done you just hit the escape button and it takes you right back to the project. So let's see what Jerry M. has done. So we've clicked off all the other students' eyes so we can just see what he's done. So he's researched Jackie Robinson. And then you can do that for each student. You can click through everybody in the group and see what they've done. Okay, so let's say now for group 2, you want them to provide information on the following events and explain the impact these events have on society. And I'm just reading right here on the description what I want group 2 to do. The Montgomery bus boycott, the lunch counter protest, the March on Washington, and the bombing of the Birmingham church. So now you're seeing that students are working on in the cloud. So they're able to see what each other has accomplished and what they're working on. And you also want to say that students, I also want to let you know that they can't see each other's work, or they can't change each other's work. I'm sorry, they can see it, but they can't change it. So this demonstrates really how the students are working on their 21st century skills. Let's look briefly at how to create a new project. This is the historical map titled Westward Exploration. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to click on New, and then I'm going to come down and click on Project. Then I'm going to go up here and I'm going to type in the title, and I'm going to type a description, what I want students to do, and I'm going to click Save. I've titled the project Group 1, Westward Exploration, and I've added a description for students. And it says, label all states, major rivers, and the route traveled by Lewis and Clark. Label and create symbols for at least 8 natural resources or animals they discovered. Create a key and a title. Okay, so if you want to know a little more information about how you can create these projects for your students and assign your classes and that kind of thing, you'll want to go to the tutorial videos, or you can also go to the webinars that are posted that have already been viewed. They're titled Collaborating Using Projects with StrataLogica. There are so many ways you can engage students using projects. Just think about your topic and how you can engage them that way. Whatever topics you're teaching in class. So let's look at charts that are available. So if you click up here on charts, it is going to give you different series. It starts with the economic series, and this lets you know what charts are available in the economic series. So you have the U.S. Government and Civic series, the Flag and Symbol series, our country's government. If you click on the arrow, the map chooser, and then the arrow, it's going to give you other options. So this is a series called the U.S. Government and Civic series, and these are all of the charts that come with a series. So this is an example of the chart comparing governments. You're able, again, to use your toolbox, and you can zoom in on this. You can zoom in on this map. You can zoom in on the different text features, and you can also write on the maps, or on the charts, I'm sorry. This is another example of a chart called the Bill of Rights. And here's one from Bill to Law. So these charts are colorful, they're wonderful. Again, you can just zoom in, you can manipulate them, and they're just wonderful for discussion, for assessment, for formative assessment, any way that you can think to use these. This is another one, Flags and Symbols series. This is great for our younger students, symbols of our country. Again, they can use the toolbox down here and write on it. There's also a wonderful, colorful one, a flag with the pledge, and also with the flag. All right. Thank you so much for joining us.